Expats are flocking to Mexico in droves. If you've been scrolling social media or chatting with friends, you've probably heard the buzz. Mexico's become the go-to spot for Americans, Canadians, and folks from all over looking for a fresh start. We're talking over 1.6 million US expats alone, making it the biggest American expat hub on the planet. So, what's the draw? Why are people packing up, crossing the border, flying in, and settling down with roots south of the Rio Grande? In this video, we'll unpack the top reasons: affordability, lifestyle, climate, culture, and more, plus the latest trends as of 2025 driving this wave. It's a big one, so let's figure out what's pulling expats to Mexico like never before. Let's kick things off with the elephant in the room: cost of living. This is the number one reason expats are hightailing it to Mexico. Life in the US, Canada, or Western Europe has gotten pricey. Rents in cities like LA or Toronto can easily top $2,000 a month for just a one-bedroom condo. And don't get me started on groceries or healthcare. In Mexico, your money stretches way further. Take Mexico City. Average monthly expenses for a single person, no rent, are about $950 per recent stats. Add a one bedroom in the city center at $700 to $900 a month, and you're still under half of what you pay in New York, where it's $3,500 plus. Out in Puerto Vallarta, a family of four can live comfortably on $3,000 a month, rent included. Try doing that in San Diego. Housing's a steal too. A decent two-bedroom condo in Merida might cost $120,000, while in California, you're lucky to find a broom closet for that. Expats are living larger. They're hiring gardeners, eating out weekly on budgets that would barely cover basics back home. And it's not just young folks. Retirees are huge in this mix. Mexico is a dream for anyone on a fixed income like Social Security. A couple can live well on $1,500 to $2,000 a month in places like Lake Chapala, where 20,000 US and Canadian expats have settled. Compare that to Florida, where $3,000 might not even cover rent and meds. Healthcare is another kicker. Private healthcare in Mexico is top-notch and cheap. A doctor's visit might run $20 to $40, and major surgeries like a hip replacement might cost, maybe $10,000 versus $40,000 in the US. Expats with remote jobs or pensions see their dollars double in value. And that financial breathing room is a massive pull. Next up, the lifestyle. Mexico's got this laid-back vibe that's pure catnip for stressed-out expats. You've heard of mañana, right? It's not just tomorrow, it's a whole attitude. Things move slower, less rushed than the 9 to 5 grind up north. Remote workers love it. It's the same time zone as the US, meaning you can Zoom with clients in the morning, hit the beach by noon, right? Digital nomads are flocking to Mexico City's trendy spots like La Condesa, where cafes buzz with laptop warriors, or Playa del Carmen, where you can surf between calls. Retirees dig the pace too. San Miguel de Allende's got large art galleries and plazas where you can sip coffee all day, no pressure. It's not about giving up comforts. Expats still get high-speed internet, modern gyms, and Walmart if they want it, but adding that chill factor, that lifestyle that you can't buy in Seattle or Toronto. Then there's the climate. Mexico's got every flavor of climate that you could want. Love the beach? Puerto Vallarta's got turquoise waves and 80-degree Fahrenheit weather year-round. If you prefer cooler vibes, San Miguel de Allende sits at 6,000 feet with warm days and crisp nights. Merida is hot and humid, but expats there swear by the trade-off: the Gulf Coast breezes, the colonial charm. Even the desert north, like San Luis Potosí, pulls folks who love dry heat and rugged views. You could go south to a place like Chiapas if you want that jungle vibe that feels like Costa Rica. Compare that to scraping ice off your car in Minnesota or slogging through the Vancouver rain. Mexico's weather is a year-round win. No wonder snowbirds flood Lake Chapala every year, swelling the expat crowd from 20 to 40,000 when the frost hits up north. Culture is another huge magnet. Mexico's like a mashup of Spanish colonial flair, ancient Mayan and Aztec roots, and modern zest. Walking through Oaxaca, and you're hit with vibrant markets, Day of the Dead parades, and mole that'll ruin you for any other sauce. 7 spices, chocolate, pure magic. If you haven't tried mole yet, you got to give it a try. Expats rave about the food in Mexico. You got street tacos everywhere for $1, fresh avocados, fresh food, and the seafood in Mazatlan is straight off the boat. Then there's the history, from Chichen Itza's pyramids to Teotihuacan's ruins, colonial cathedrals in Guanajuato. It's not just a backdrop, it's a lifestyle. Expats enjoy salsa classes, learn Spanish over mezcal, and feel part of something deeper than strip malls and subdivisions. Locals are warm too. Unlike some tourist traps, Mexicans often welcome expats with open arms, especially if you try an hola or two. Proximity is a huge bonus, especially for Americans and Canadians. Mexico is right there. 3-hour flight from LA to Mexico City, or a drive if you're in Texas. Visiting family is easy, $200, round trip flights. Beats the $1,000 haul to Europe. Retirees pop back for holidays, remote workers nip up for meetings. It's not like moving to Thailand, you're not cut off. Canada's close too, 4 hours from Vancouver to Puerto Vallarta. That ease keeps expats connected, making the leap less daunting. Plus, visa rules are a breeze. Tourists get 180 days, no hassle, and a temporary residency visa is simple. Show $2,000 monthly income. Correction, these numbers should be updated. Show around $4,000, $4,500 monthly income, or $70,000, $75,000 in savings, and you're set to get residency for yourself. You'll be working towards permanent residency. And for retirees over 60, you can go straight to permanent residency as well. Community is big too. Mexico's got expat enclaves where you're never alone. Lake Chapala's the king. You got 20,000 North Americans, English theater, golf clubs, the works. Puerto Vallarta's Riviera Nayarit stretches 30 miles of coast with 10,000 expats. You got boardwalks, cafes, yoga retreats. San Miguel de Allende's a pastel jewel, another 10,000 expats in a metro of 140,000 with a big art scene and eccentrics galore. Merida also has tons of expats in a bustling million-person city with music in the plazas, Yucatan flavors. These spots are the easy transition. You can speak English if you want, but Spanish immersion is also there to dive in and increase your skill set. Expats say it's the best of both worlds, local culture and gringo friends. 2 communities for one. I know that safety is a concern that people raise, but expats shrug it off. Most of the trouble is up near the border, and it's between groups, and it's just not going to affect you. Merida is one of Mexico's safest cities with 1 million people. It's got an airport and very low crime. Puerto Vallarta is very safe. Mexico City is very safe. Mexico in general is a much safer country than you think. And your fears will be alleviated when you go to Mexico. You start walking the streets and you see that people aren't living in fear. Like, people will take their phones out in the street. Grandmas will be walking with kids, eating ice cream. People stay out all night playing soccer or hanging out and having a couple beers in the plaza. It's a very safe country. And in many ways, you will be safer in Mexico as an expat than you are in downtown Toronto or downtown Boston. The latest trends as of 2025, while remote work is turbocharging this, post-pandemic companies let folks work anywhere. Mexico's the same time zone, and the cheap flights make it a no-brainer. Mexico City's co-working spaces are packed. Tulum is a nomad's paradise. Inflation is biting up north. U.S. rents rose 10% in 2024 per recent data, while Mexico's costs creep at a much slower pace. Housing shifting too. There's a lot of new builds in Querétaro and in Guadalajara, which eases pressure among the cost of housing. Gentrification is a buzzword where, rents in Mexico City's Condesa have jumped 60% since 2020 to an average of $14.50 US per month. But expats still find deals outside the hotspots. And if you go way outside the hotspots, you go maybe to southern Mexico, you can easily rent a whole house for $300. The vibe is shifting from escape to embrace. Less running from high costs and more chasing Mexico's authentic culture and soul. There are some downsides, sure. The culture shock is louder. Fireworks, roosters, mariachi at 2 a.m., speakers, music, trucks. Bureaucracy can be slow, bank lines, visa renewals. The gentrification stirs a little bit of tension. But expats adapt. Earplugs, local fixers like My Latin Life, supporting the street vendors, meeting the locals, making local friends. And the upsides dwarf it. You have affordable living, endless sun, culture that hugs you back. From retirees in Ajijic to millennials in Tulum, Mexico's pulling them in. 1.6 million Americans, 100,000 Canadians, and counting. So why are expats flocking to Mexico? It's the whole package. Cheap, beautiful, close, welcoming. It's sipping coffee in a colonial plaza, surfing at dawn, stretching a pension into a palace. Is it for you? Maybe. Have you been to Mexico? Dream of moving? Hit the like button if we helped unpack it for you. Subscribe for more. There's a link in the description to book a call with My Latin Life, and I'll see you in the next video.